We've been drinking more at home in the lockdown, and we have been smoking more as well. We all know why. We also know that cutting down on alcohol and giving up smoking is good for your physical health. But a new study says that getting off the ciggies is at least as good as antidepressants for your mental health in reducing anxiety and depression. Dr. Gemma Taylor led that study. She's from the Addiction and Mental Health Group at the University of Bath, and she told me all about it.
What we wanted to do was we wanted to find out how stopping smoking affects people's mental health. So we did something called a Cochrane review. And in this type of study, what we do is we systematically search all of the academic databases in the world, and then we statistically combine the results from all those studies. We included studies that followed smokers over time and looked at their mental health from the start of the study and then after people quit smoking compared to people who continued smoking during the study period. We found 102 studies in just over 169,000 people. And what we found was that stopping smoking was associated with improvements in symptoms of anxiety, depression, and stress, and also increases in positive feelings. And what was surprising was that we found that this association was true in people with and without pre-existing mental health difficulties.
Now, a lot of smokers really believe, don't they, firmly believe that the smoking, the nicotine, is helping them with their stress and anxiety, and they use it for that reason.
Yes, that's true. And people will report that. But what our research and many other studies seem to suggest is that it's actually the opposite that's true. And together, the science is really starting to paint a picture, indicating that in the same way that smoking damages your physical health, it's likely that smoking damages your mental health as well.
Do you have any idea of how that happens? What's the process here?
So what we think is happening is that because tobacco smoking is associated with neuroadaptations in the brain, and these neuroadaptations are then linked to the occurrence of tobacco withdrawal symptoms, depressed mood, agitation, and anxiety. And these symptoms are alleviated by smoking when you're a regular smoker, but they return when blood levels of nicotine decline at around 20 minutes after finishing a cigarette. So what you can see from this is that smokers are actually caught in a vicious cycle, and it's reinforced by the fact that smoking another cigarette will get rid of the withdrawal. And many smokers then mistake the ability of cigarettes to alleviate withdrawal actually to its ability to alleviate stress, anxiety, and sadness. The good news is that if someone can quit smoking and break that cycle, then their mental health improves.
Joanne Hart can tell us about giving up. She's a therapist and she is an ex-smoker. She's from Devon. Joanne, how long had you been smoking and what made you decide to stop?
I've been smoking since my late teens, other than a couple of periods of time where I managed to quit before but then went back to it. And I was quite a heavy smoker, I'd say. And I quit at the beginning of lockdown last year.
Oh, well done.
Thank you. And I think it was partly to do with the fact I was reaching 40 and wanted to be more healthy, and also because we were in a respiratory pandemic. So it seemed quite dangerous actually smoking and being at risk of, catching COVID.
Do you recognise this finding that it's good for your mental health to stop?
Yes, I definitely recognise that 100%. So in the past, I have struggled with low mood and anxiety. And I think you are always kind of, wherever you go, you're always thinking, when am I going to be able to have my next cigarette? So that actually does put on a lot of stress if you're in situations where you can't really go out and have one. So I found quitting, it really impacted on my stress levels and my anxiety levels because I no longer had to worry about that. So I can relate with what Dr. Taylor was saying there. But also I think it had a real impact on my self-esteem, which is obviously linked to a low mood. I didn't smell of it any longer. I felt a sense of mastery because I'd completed a goal that I really wanted to achieve by giving up. So it really helped with my mood as well as stress and anxiety.
Dr. Taylor, at the start of the first national lockdown, there was this big surge in people going to online services to help them stop smoking. So a lot of people obviously felt as Joanne did. And yet sales of tobacco have risen over the last year. Cigarette sales up by 7%, but rolling tobacco sales up by a whopping 36%. What do you think's going on?
Yeah, so it's quite complex. There's a lot of things at play here. So we're actually seeing that a lot of people have stopped smoking during the pandemic. A recent survey found that over 1 million people in the UK have stopped smoking since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in Britain. And a further 44,000 people have tried to quit smoking during the same period. However, we're also seeing that many people are relapsing, particularly the younger age groups. And we're also seeing that some people are reporting smoking more because of boredom and stress.
Joanne Hart, everyone knows it is very hard to stop smoking. And as you described, you have managed to stop at different times in your life and then started again. So if anyone is listening who really wants to do what you have done, what advice would you give them?
It is a hard thing to do, and you don't have to do it alone. So for me, I think what was really helpful is setting a date to actually quit and getting some support from a stop smoking service. I did it through my GP and had somebody call me regularly and help with nicotine replacement therapy. And I think that was really key in me being able to succeed in quitting.
And Dr. Gemma Taylor, how quickly do these mental health benefits kick in? Because obviously you've got a period of time, haven't you, when you'll be dying for a ciggy and you don't want to have one.
The study that we ran, we found these mental health benefits starting at 6 weeks, which is typically when people report that other tobacco withdrawal symptoms go away as well. So it's all about breaking that tobacco withdrawal cycle.
That was Dr. Gemma Taylor from the University of Bath and Joanne Hart, who's given up smoking. If alcohol's your thing, though, and you wonder about your liver, I heard a podcast about that, Made of Stronger Stuff, the liver. It's on BBC Sounds, and it tells you about liver function and how your liver function gets damaged. And also about an experiment that's underway using a hormone from the liver to see if it could help get rid of cravings for a drink. We'll all be queuing up for that. 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 We'll all be queuing.